Hi, everyone. I'm Deb Flashenberg. Welcome to Yoga, Birth, Babies, a podcast produced by Prenatal Yoga Center. We will be diving into everything prenatal yoga, birth, and baby related, hoping to inspire, educate, and empower you through your journey into motherhood. Thank you for listening.
Hi, I'm Deb Flashenberg, and I'm your host of Yoga Birth Babies. And today we're talking about the importance of community. Think about when you become pregnant or a parent, how important it is to have people around you that understand what you're going through. Sometimes friends and family, they have the best of intentions, but maybe they had their kids several years before and they don't quite remember, or they're giving a lot of unsolicited advice. I know you know what I'm talking about. So we're going to have a talk all about community. So to have this conversation, I have Shai Tamary. Let me tell you a little bit about Shai. She is a community builder, program strategist, and yoga teacher based in New York City. She's the founder of The Nest, a grassroots perinatal community that has grown to include over, at this point, 450 local members in less than a year. Shai will tell you more about it, but it started as just a local hangout after prenatal yoga at Prenatal Yoga Center, and it became this massive support group. So Shai is going to talk about the origins of The Nest, why it's crucial to have support during pregnancy, and how to really ask for what you need during pregnancy and postpartum. I love the stories she shares about her parents and how she prepared them to come visit. And they were already the parents of 4 kids, so they have done this before, but she really needed them to be adding to her experience, not adding stress. And I love how she put that. So I'm so excited for you to hear this conversation. Community is at the forefront of Prenatal Yoga Center. It's one of our main pillars. So when Shai suggested this as a conversation, I jumped on it. I can't wait for you to hear. Now, before we get to my conversation with Shai, I always love to give updates about what's happening at Prenatal Yoga Center. Really, the best way is to check out our website. We have some new classes going on. We have a new parent support group leader. So much is happening. We have our teacher trainings. I do a new blog each month. And of course, we have our podcast. I have so much on there. So please check that out just to keep up to date on our schedule, our workshops, our on-demand classes. So much continuously builds. So check that out. Join our newsletter. Get everything sent to you weekly. What else is going on? Oh, I want to thank you. Thank you, listener, because we always have listeners sending in ideas of conversations to have on the podcast. It's incredibly helpful. I've been doing this for it's either 8 or 9 years. I should know that, but it's been over 400 podcast episodes. But sometimes I feel like I'm running dry of ideas, and then I just look to emails or our podcast applications, and people always have fresh takes on things. So it's really helpful for me to give back to you. So if you have an idea or you think you'd be a good guest, reach out. Let me know. If you want to share your birth story, let me know. I'd love to hear that. And then I do have an ask of you. Please leave a rating and review so that people can find Yoga Birth Babies. This is all about supporting each other and supporting our community. So let's help our community grow. Please leave a rating and review when and where you can. All right, that is enough of me. Let's take a super quick break. When we come back, please enjoy my conversation about community with Shai Tamary.
This episode is brought to you by Stouffer's. Here comes 3-time juggling champion Natalia Rogers. She's juggling law school, her TA job. Oh, narrowly catches the laundry. What's that 4th ball? Parents unexpectedly showed up at dinner time? Is that too much for Natalia? Not with Stouffer's Chicken Alfredo and its mouth-watering mix of Asiago, Romano, and Parmesan. When you're juggling 4 things at once and the clock strikes dinner, think Stouffer's.
Hi, Shai. How are you?
Hi, Deb. I'm wonderful. So great to talk to you.
Oh, I love talking to you. I always loved having you in class. And I love that when I reached out to hear your birth story, you're like, actually, let's talk community instead. Because first of all, that is so who I think you are, all about community. But it's such an important part of PYC. So thank you for kind of pushing that to the forefront.
Absolutely.
All right. So before we jump into, I have so many questions. Before we jump into that, why don't you just share a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Well, I'm Shai. Professionally, over the last 10 years, I've been in the intersection of strategic partnerships, program building, and community engagement. For the last 6 years, I've been running startup accelerator programs. And on a more personal note, I am the mom of a magical 6-month-old baby girl named Leah.
And she's delightful, and I've met her.
She is.
So we're going to talk about community building. It's funny, I didn't realize that was part of your professional background, because I know you started an amazing community, a WhatsApp group at PYC that I've heard has grown tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to hear about that. But what's also so beautiful about this is part of PYC's methodology is to create communities. So I love that you really ran with that and just bolstered that part of our community. So thank you. So why don't we just jump in to sharing the origin stories of the Nest? What is it? How did it start? Give me the whole thing.
Yeah. So the Nest is a prenatal and postpartum community and a friendship network of over 450
Oh my
women.
gosh, is it really? It started with like 10, like a year ago. That's crazy.
Yeah. In less than a year, we've grown to over 450 members across New York City. We have weekly meetups, events, programming. We have a WhatsApp group chat that is incredibly active. And the way that it started was completely unintentional. I was actually looking to join a community rather than start a community. And I had been going to the Prenatal Yoga Center since the end of my first trimester. And I actually had heard that there was a great WhatsApp group for Prenatal Yoga Center students. And I tried to join that group. I got the link and everything. And for weeks, I wasn't approved. The admin.
Oh, geez. I didn't even know that. I wonder I didn't even know that, because I'm not part of that part of it. So.
Right. It was like an informal group that some students started, and I guess, for whatever reason, I wasn't approved.
I'm so sorry.
I don't think it was on purpose, but after a few weeks where I was just hanging there, I was like, okay, maybe I'll just start my own group. And so I started a small WhatsApp group with the girls who were in class with me. We called the group Prenatal Yoga Friends, and it started as just a very casual chat. We would ask each other for advice. We would tell each other which classes we're going to, which workshops we're going to. We would plan to get coffee after yoga class. And then when the group grew to about 10 people, I felt like we had enough friends to actually meet in person. And so I initiated our first Central Park meetup, and that went really well. And then we decided, why not have these Central Park meetups every week? And I think we would do them mostly on Saturdays after yoga class. And from there, the group started growing like wildfire, because people started telling their friends about the group. Other pregnant people in Central Park would come up to us and be like, oh, are you guys all pregnant? I'm pregnant too. Can I join your group? And it started just growing organically, super fast. And then during my maternity leave, I had some extra time to really invest in this group. And the Nest kind of turned into my passion project. And we started doing weekly events, partnerships with the different brands, a lot more programming, and it's grown into something so beautiful and so magical.
Tell me about the programming.
Yeah. So we have our regular Central Park meetups. We have our monthly Mama's Night Out that we do in partnership with an amazing restaurant on the Upper West Side. A lot of our partnerships are with mom-owned brands and mom-owned restaurants, and they've all been inbound so far, which has been absolutely incredible. We have a monthly fitness workout with a strength training class for prenatal and pregnant people. And so, yeah, we've really professionalized this group.
And this is, Are you back from your maternity leave? This is still on the side?
Yeah, so I originally was supposed to go back from maternity leave at the end of July. And unfortunately, they shut down my accelerator during my maternity leave, which is a whole other podcast that we can talk about. But I chose to kind of see that as an opportunity to invest in this community. So that's what I've been doing.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love how I'm going to sound so Sound of Music, but when one door opens, when one door closes, another window opens.
Yeah.
I love that. So let's talk about, from your experience, why is community so crucial during pregnancy?
Yeah. Pregnancy is such a wild and wonderful time. I was talking to a good friend of mine yesterday who was actually diagnosed with Bell's palsy during her pregnancy. She's currently pregnant. And we were talking about how life initiates you into motherhood by throwing as much craziness as it can at you all at the same time, physically, emotionally, mentally, socially, just all the craziness, and saying, can you handle it? And we learn that we can handle it, but it's a lot better if we handle it with other people, and that we realize that we can lean on other people, especially other people that are going through it at the same time and understand what you're going through.
That makes a lot of sense. So as you were building this village while becoming a mother, what was that experience like? You were kind of on the organizational side, but you were also going through all the experience.
Yeah, I never thought that I would spend my pregnancy and, my immediate postpartum time building this community, but it makes sense because I'm not really somebody who can sit still. And it's just been so incredibly rewarding to build this community. I've made more friends in the last 9 months of building the nest than I have in the last 9 years, I would say. And so it's been just really, really wonderful, really meaningful to see the impact that it's had on so many people's lives and so many people's pregnancy journeys and matrescence journeys. So yeah, it's been really special. It's also been very difficult at times.
Yeah, share about that.
Yeah, postpartum is rough. For me, the first, I would say, 5 months of postpartum were really, really, really challenging. Mostly on like an emotional and mental level. Definitely deep in baby blues. So there were moments where investing in the community felt like too much. Sleepless nights and trying to organize a bunch of different events and sending out all the communications and going and teaching yoga classes. I'm also a yoga teacher, and I was teaching mama and baby yoga classes once a week for a large part of the summer. And it at some point felt like too much. And thankfully, I had the community that had my back and also told me, Shai, it looks like you're doing a little bit too much. And it looks like you need some help. And a few friends in the community volunteered to be part of kind of a nest committee to support me and to help the community grow in a way that's more sustainable. So
I'm glad they stepped in for that. So when you were going through that deeper baby blues, I'm kind of going off script and kind of diving in. You can always tell me to stop. Did you recognize that you needed support? Did you recognize it was more than the baby blues? How did you navigate that?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I was constantly monitoring myself to make sure that it was just baby blues and not developing into something more serious than that. And thankfully, I had the nest and my friends in the nest to support me. So whether that was sending a message in the group chat late at night because I couldn't fall asleep or I was breastfeeding and I just wanted somebody to talk to or to grab a coffee with somebody, or during our meetups to be able to share with other women and to hear their stories reflected back at me and just feel less alone and realize that everything I was going through was in the spectrum of normal and everything's going to be okay.
That's so great. I'm so glad that you had that. And then to have the people also, not just like keeping an eye on you, but like you said, reflecting back. And I love that you were saying that you started in the PYC manner with circle time. That makes me so happy that that's kind of worked its way through, which kind of leads me into a question I had written about how can having a supportive community influence the birthing person's mentality and emotional well-being during pregnancy? So you talked about it during postpartum. How did you find having that supported you during pregnancy?
Yeah, I think having a real community of real friends, and I'm going to underscore the word real, is so valuable. And I would say that it's crucial. It was one of the 3 pillars of my pregnancy. I would say community, yoga, and therapy were the 3 pillars of my pregnancy, and all equally important. It is just so crucial to feel like you are not alone. I mean, people have been making babies for 300,000 years, yet it feels like you're the first person to do it when you're in it. It can feel really isolating. It can feel really scary because it's all happening inside of you. It's all happening internally, literally and figuratively. So having a support system that just, gets it without you having to explain, because you can't even explain. One, your brain isn't working at its highest capacity because it's busy making a baby. And so you can't really verbalize in the way that you want to. So just not having to explain and just being able to show up, messy, tired, crying, all of it, and just feel seen and held and supported.
I love that. We're going to take a break. When we come back, let's talk about friends and family and how they can support new parents. Okay, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Okay, so we're back, and I really appreciated, and the more I think about how you describe this and your experience, and then watching the other parents go through this as well, I think about all those that are like, yeah, I'm in the WhatsApp group. It does seem like this deep internal web where there is that connection of like, yes, I'm going through this too, and everything annoys me, or feeling weepy, like you do have that unspoken connection, which can sometimes be challenging when people around you don't get it. So how do you think friends and family can be more intentional in the way they support pregnant folks and new parents?
So when I was pregnant, I wrote my parents a letter, and I told them my parents live in Israel and they were going to be traveling to meet the baby and, of course, support me after I gave birth. And I wrote them, when you come, I know that you will have so much wisdom to impart on me. You're very experienced. You've had 4 kids. You know how to do this. But I am asking that you only give me the support that I ask of you and not the support that you think I need. So give me what I want and what I need, and not what you think I want and what you think I need. So what I would say to friends and family is to do just that. Ask what they need and then actually do that thing, even if it's not what you think that they need.
How'd that land with them?
It landed surprisingly well. I used ChatGPT to help me articulate that letter and to do it in a nice tone.
I only laugh because I have used ChatGPT where I knew my tone wasn't okay. And I'm like, please fix this and make it sound nice.
And it did such a great job. And I've shared this letter with other friends who have shared it with their parents. Yeah, so that would be number one. And then number two way to support is to offer specific help and not vague offers. So instead of like, let me know if you need anything or do you need anything, say, hey, I'm bringing dinner on Tuesday. Do you prefer salmon or veggie pasta? For me, food was a big stressor postpartum.
In what way?
I was just stressed about having to cook, about having to grocery shop, about having nutritious food, because I didn't want to eat junk postpartum. I wanted to eat healthy, nutritious food, and I didn't want to think about it, and I didn't want to actually go and do the grocery shopping. I wanted it to be done for me. And so one of my closest friends, Mika, put together a meal train. And then I didn't have to think about what I was going to eat because my friends would come and bring me takeout, or they would bring home cooked meals. And so, yeah, and knowing what your friend's stressors are. And if you don't know, ask your friend what their stressors are. And then having a very specific and tangible solve for those stressors.
Oh, I like that a lot. So I'm kind of going back to the parents because I think this is a common thing. When they did arrive and you had already told them ahead of time, only give me what I need, did you direct them in a way? Were they able to be intuitive? I mean, you said they had 4 kids, so they were probably able to at least hold Leah without, challenge there. How did you navigate that with them?
So I was surprised at how much my parents were willing to follow my lead when they came to visit, because that's not, how our relationship was until now. And yeah, I just felt like they were really watching closely, and they were just being a lot more cautious. And they could tell right away if I wasn't happy with something. Another big thing I told them was, don't give me any unsolicited advice. Don't give me any advice. Not that I know how to do everything. I actually don't know how to do this at all. But I want to figure it out. And if I want your advice, I will ask for it. So surprisingly, they were able to do those two things of just being receptive and watching for my cues and letting me take the lead, and also just not giving me unsolicited advice.
Oh, I really like that. What's one thing you wish every new parent or expectant parent understood about the value of community?
I would say we're wired for connection. We're not meant to go through matrescence alone. And you know the saying, it takes a village, like it takes a village to raise a child. I think it takes a village to support a new mom.
Definitely.
And we need that village. It's not a nice to have, it's an essential.
I don't think that goes away after just the beginning. I still rely so heavily on my close friends. I've got 5. I had to count up really quickly. Yeah. 5 really close friends that I can count on in situations like I need help now. Like when a couple years ago, when my son was at the playground and fell, and it wasn't just a fall, it was his elbow needed immediate attention. Like he ended up having surgery like 2 days later, like that immediate attention. And we were just at the town pool, scooped up my kids. I called my friend Alex as I was driving 2 minutes away from her house. I'm like, I am giving you Sage. We are taking Shai to the hospital. And without question, she's like, I'm here. drop her off. And they kept her for hours because we had to go straight to the hospital and waited for multiple x-rays. But that's the kind of village that I think all parents need, the person or the people that you can call when you have to rely on them. And then the kinds that you can just call and be like, oh my God, my partner's annoying me. Can we talk about it? Like, I don't think we outgrow that. I think actually we just continue to bolster the importance of these friendships. That's
Absolutely.
just in my experience. And it's been important to have that.
Absolutely. And I am so grateful that I have this community now. And I hope that I will have this community for the rest of my journey in motherhood.
Do you find, because New York is so transient, that you've watched people come and go? What are your thoughts on that? Because people kind of pop in and out a lot in New York City.
Yeah, New York is very transient. I would say in terms of the group, we haven't had that much. I mean, we've only had the nest for 10 months. So we haven't had that many people move in and out of the city, mostly move into the city and join the community rather than move out. But yeah, that's definitely a challenge, because I think one of the really special things about the nest is our emphasis on in-person programming and in-person meetups and in-person friendships. So that's definitely going to be a challenge in a city like New York, where, in 3 years, we're all going to be in different places. But I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
So can you share a powerful moment or story that illustrates how community made a difference for you as a new parent?
Absolutely. And I will say that community has made a difference mostly in the small, everyday moments, like the little check-in messages, the advice, the hugs, that kind of thing. But if I were to choose kind of one story, then I would say when Leah was born, she was born at 41 weeks, but she was very, very small. She was 5th percentile. And I had bought and prepared clothing that was just not her size. It was like all 0 to 3 month old clothing, because that's what I was told to buy, because babies are never, babies outgrow their clothes so quickly and they're born with wearing 0 to 3 months. That was not the case for Leah. When she was born at 41 weeks, she needed to wear preemie clothing, and I didn't have any preemie clothing. And on one of those, I think it was probably my first night back home from the hospital, I realized I didn't have any clothes for her. I didn't have swaddles that fit her, because I needed a Velcro swaddle. I just could not figure out how to do the swaddle that they did at the hospital. And super late at night, like maybe 4 a.m., I wrote in the group and I was like, hey, does anybody have preemie clothes that I could borrow? Leah doesn't fit into any of her clothes yet. And right away, a ton of people reached out to me. And this wasn't 4 a.m, but everybody was up because everybody was breastfeeding and everybody was, not sleeping for different reasons. And the next day, 3 different friends came over and brought me bags full of clothes and swaddles. And I was just so incredibly grateful, because this wasn't just a community that I could, chat with and ask for advice and recommendations. Like, this was a group of friends that was actually showing up for me when I needed them. And that meant so much to me.
Yeah. Oh, I hope everyone gets that. What's your hope for the future of maternal support? And that's kind of a big question.
That is a big question. I have a lot of hopes for the future of maternal support. First,
I want to hear them all.
Yes. So first of all, I'd love to see maternal support treated as a public health priority, with accessible and affordable support, and community spaces. So that's number one. Number two, along the lens of community that we're talking about, I hope that we can normalize community support and normalize mothers asking for help and receiving help without shame or guilt. We put independence on a pedestal and expect moms to do so much by themselves, even though we're not built, we're not evolutionarily designed to do all the things that we do by ourselves. We're meant to do them in community and with the support of our families and friends and loved ones. And so I hope that we can start normalizing that behavior as opposed to the glamorous, Instagrammable, independent mom doing everything by herself.
That's actually when I created PYC and our pillars being childbirth education, the asana, and community.
Mm-hmm.
It was because community showed up because I was in New York when I did that. And my experience in my 20s in New York when I opened the studio was that people were constantly, I would talk about transient coming and going. And most of my friends, if not all my friends, showed up for some reason. Maybe, I was in theater, so most of us showed up to perform. Some people showed up just because it sounded like New York was a fun place to be. And most of us didn't have family around. And we felt alone. And then when I opened PYC and I saw this massive experience that people go through, this transformation when pregnant and then having a baby and feeling alone, it was so important to me that people could show up there and have that support because they probably didn't have family around. Or if they had friends, maybe their friends weren't going through pregnancy with them at the same time. Maybe their kids were already 3 or 4 and they didn't totally remember babyhood or kept, like you said, giving the advice. And so I love what you're saying about embracing the community and not trying to shoulder it, because I don't think we are meant to. Like, my mom just moved 20 minutes away, and for the first, my son now is 14, for the 14 years I did not have her around, and all of a sudden she's 20 minutes away. I'm like, wow, it is so nice to have.
Such a huge
It
difference.
really did. And I was like, I'm so independent. Look at me. And now I'm like, my mom's nearby. It's so great.
I mean, of course, we can do a lot of things by ourselves, but it's just so much better if we don't, if we do them with other people.
I'm not saying don't be strong and independent, but let's not, for me, that's not the platform I'm going to die on. Like, I need, I feel like I'm fiercely independent, but knowing community is there makes things just softer. So I love that's one of your things.
Softer and stronger, because I think we're so much stronger together.
Yes, and more sane. At least I'm going to speak for myself.
Yeah.
It kind of puts me in check. I've literally had some friends be like, is that the hill you want to die on? Maybe there's other things. Like, if I'm feeling stuck on something, someone can give a different perspective. And that's also helpful with when raising kids, is that I know I've kind of gone down a path in my head. I'm like, this is the right thing. And then someone be like, let's have a different perspective, maybe. And I'm like, oh, actually, I think you might be right. And so having that reflection back and that conversation, I think, is invaluable as a parent too.
Absolutely.
Oh, I've so loved this. All right, we're going to take another break. When we come back, what is one final tip or piece of advice you'd like to offer new and expectant parents? We'll be right back. So we're back. So this can come from anything. This can come from your place as a community leader. This can come from your place as a mom, whatever you want. So what is one final tip or piece of advice you'd like to offer new and expectant parents?
I'll take this to the community angle.
Okay.
So one tip that I would offer new and expectant parents is you don't have to wait until you're feeling lonely and overwhelmed and stressed to find your people. In fact, you should start building your village, finding your community as soon as you can. And if you can't find a community that you vibe with, then you can always build your own community. You can always start your own community. And in doing so, you can help so many people along the way. So find your people. And if you can't find your people, then bring them to you.
I like that. Where can people find your work and the Nest?
Yes. So you can find me on LinkedIn. There are not a lot of Shai Tamarys on there. And you can also reach out at nest.mamas.nyc@gmail.com.
Amazing. I will make sure all of that's in the show notes. Shai, it was so amazing connecting with you and just diving into this world. And it's really been an honor to watch it get constructed and to build to where it is today. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you so, so much.
This has been an episode of Yoga, Birth, Babies, produced by Prenatal Yoga Center. You can catch us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Periscope. I'm Deb Flaschenberg. Thanks for listening.